Greetings, IDS 400 students. I want to talk to you about the final project. Let's get right to it. The final project is similar to a capstone project. To begin with, you will pick a topic within the realm of diversity, and the topic you have to be interested in. Otherwise, your work will end up being pedestrian. So make sure that you think carefully about what you're choosing, the topic, the issue within the context of diversity, and narrow it down to a problem within an organization or an industry or a facet of society, and nothing general and in an abstract form. So the idea is that you find focus, and when you introduce the topic within your project, you can do general introductions and abstractions, but beyond that, everything gets focused and is specific. So it's pretty simple process. You find a problem, you investigate the problem, you do the research through reliable sources, not Wikipedia, not somebody's personal blog, and not these opinion-based, absolutely biased sources that take you to one direction and then reject the other direction, and so forth. You also have to be cognizant of your own biases while you're doing this investigation. So if you pick a topic that you already have a conclusion made around it, and you think that you know this is exactly what needs to happen, kind of like the political statement that somebody might make, then that's not going to work. So you need to be aware of your own biases, and you need to try to be as objective as possible. So you do the investigation, you do the research, and then you bring in the synthesis of the research and introduce it within your presentation. And finally, the last step is you want to go beyond the descriptive mode and offer a solution to the problem. And the solution has to be plausible and concrete, specific, and again, moving away from abstractions and generalities. So let's say you're talking about the representation of women in news media. You say, well, you know, it's very low, and we need more women in front of the camera, behind the camera, doing production work, doing executive decisions, and so forth and so on. But just saying that is not a solution. And saying that, well, companies need to hire more women and so on. But how and why? Just saying it has been happening for a long, long time. So you want to think about structuring a solution and recommendations that are strong, that are plausible, that are feasible, and that are pragmatic. And so you want to be specific. Do you want to look at legislative approaches? Can the government step in and take care of this? Can civil society form organizations and the kind of movements that are required to change things? What else can happen? So this is where your originality enters the picture. Now finally, in order to present your final project, given that we are in an online asynchronous platform, during the 8 weeks you have done milestone 1, 2, 3, and so on, and so this is a cumulative thing, and so it culminates into this a PowerPoint presentation with recorded sound where you are offering the narration. So imagine you're in front of a live audience and you are presenting PowerPoint and you're showing slides with some content, and then you are providing orally the necessary content to give this thing sense. And so it has to be coherent, the audience has to understand what you're talking about, and it has to be cohesive. So one slide after another slide, they have to connect, and it has to progressively work towards offering the solution with the conclusion. It has to be impactful. And don't forget that you're putting the interdisciplinary lens onto the topic that you're working around. In other words, it cannot be just the economic lens that you put on something. With issues of diversity, because they're complex, there's so many different dimensions, as our discourse will sort of reveal as we're looking at biology and psychology and philosophy and so on. So economically, philosophically, psychologically, sociologically, you want to look at all these areas and find the connections and offer it to the audience. So the audio portion is very important. Of course, the images that you choose have to be relevant to what you're doing. So everything has to fit. 7 to 10 minutes. That's all. And the formula that I often offer my students to determine, how many slides, how many words, and so on, is as follows. When I go to a conference, academic conference, and myself and my colleagues, we do this all the time. They give us usually 20 minutes to present, and then there's some Q&A and so on. But the 20 minutes essentially translates into an 8-page academic paper. An 8-page academic paper offers 20 minutes. So think about that. Your thing is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 pages. So in those 4 pages, you're offering evidence, reliable evidence. You're offering information about the topic and what's happening, the descriptive mode. Then you're going beyond that, and then you're offering a solution. So it's a lot of work, of course, but it should pay dividends, not only in terms of your scholarly inquiry, but also helping not only yourself gain a deeper understanding of the issue at hand and diversity in general, but also perhaps helping an organization, helping an industry, helping a community, helping a nation with possible solutions to diversity problems. So 7 to 10 minutes. Make sure that your narration is coherent and cohesive, and images. This kind of a limited scope. Images minimum 8 to 10 slides, maximum no more than 20 slides. So if you got more than 20 slides, you've got too much. Perhaps there's fluff that you can get rid of. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 slides should do it. And of course, you're offering your sources and so on. And step by step, we're looking at how you're constructing this thing. So no problem there. I hope that this video is helpful to you, and of course you can watch it over and over. And as I always recommend, don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't wait too long before you ask questions. And best of luck to you putting together this project. Thank you very much for viewing and listening.